Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So it seems like altcoins are selling off. So tonight I want to talk about why this may be happening. There seems to be one factor, one thing that a lot of people are paying attention to, causing a lot of fear. So is this the reason why altcoins are selling off? And what should you do about it? So let's discuss. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams every day. This morning I had it very early. In case you guys missed it, make sure you check it out. It's more about ESG and this global initiative that's very, very, very bad. And also 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. All right. Packed house tonight. I can see a lot of people are wondering again what is going on. A lot of fear. Again. All right, so let me change the screen here. So what is going on exactly? Well, even this morning, I made mention of this, and that was, Bitcoin was holding steady, but altcoins were really having trouble. So even right now, Bitcoin came down a little bit, 36.4. Just not too long ago, it was about 37ish. Even right now at 36.4, you can see that it's actually we're in the green versus this time yesterday. But Bitcoin is pretty much going sideways. And we know that ever since El Salvador announced that they were making Bitcoin legal tender, which made big news, Bitcoin had a pretty good reversal, and now it's just going sideways. But here's the thing. Even though Bitcoin is going sideways and is doing relatively well, but altcoins are not. Bitcoin dominance has shot up to 45%. This is almost a full 4% higher than just a day ago. So why did this happen? That is a huge jump within one single day. And it's not because Bitcoin went up. Now, Bitcoin went up and everything else was stagnant. It would cause Bitcoin dominance to go up too, but that's not what happened. Bitcoin stayed steady while everything else went down, right? You can see Ethereum is down 5%. Cardano is down 7%. And then you go down the list, Polkadot down almost 10%. Uniswap down 9%. And then you go down the list, Solana, which has been extremely strong as of late, down 13%. Chainlink down 9%. Polygon down 10%. ICP down a staggering 14%. And the list goes on and on and on. Like literally everything that's been strong recently. Kusama, which had a pretty good rally day yesterday, is down a staggering 17% today. Look at it. There's almost nothing in the green. Literally everything is down besides stablecoins. Oh, Chile's rallied today. But everything else is down pretty significantly. So why is this? Right? Why did altcoins sell off? I believe because there's one major reason that people are paying attention to. I think there's several factors at play. But the major one is I know a lot of people have been talking about this. A lot of people in DIY solar power. That's a cool name, by the way. A lot of people have been talking about this, and this is not a good thing. This is actually measuring the short futures, I believe, on Bitfinex. Now, you can see that this has gone up quite a bit. Ever since Bitcoin started going up, this started coming up. Someone just mentioned about Bitfinex inflow. I'm going to take a look at that in a little bit. But this is what's causing a lot of fear, because here's the reason why. The last time it went up like this, okay, Bitcoin, I checked. Bitcoin dropped from 45,000 down to 30,000. So our recent low of 30,000, that was when this happened, when the short came down, okay? So now we're seeing something similar with even more short interest. So a lot of people is anticipating that we may see this weekend, going into this weekend, we may see some volatility and we may see things come down. But I like to remind you guys that short interest or high short interest can work both ways. There's a term called short squeeze, right? Yes, short squeeze is a real thing. So when you have high short interest and there's some very, very positive bullish news, or there's some massive buying that happens, all this has to cover. And then you have a massive push upward. So that can also be coming down the road, right? So right now I feel like a lot of people is paying attention to this, saying, you know what, there could be another big drop. I'm going to save my money for a rainy day. I'm not going to do anything. And some people may have even panic sold their alts, which is why alts are actually deep in the red. They're actually today, there should be no reason why the alts sell off, because Bitcoin has stayed steady. There's no down pressure on Bitcoin ever since a few days ago. It's just been going sideways. There should be no reason why altcoins are coming down today. At least this majorly. Maybe a few percentage, but not to this extent. This shows you there is still a lot of fear out there. There's a lot of FUD-driven fear. And also, I believe, the anticipation of a dip, right? Remember, this famous quote Peter Lynch said, the anticipation of fear causes more loss than the dips itself. So I think that's what people are trying to do. They're trying to anticipate something, trying to prepare for it, and in effect, causing the market to come down, right? So I believe that is what's happening. Now, of course, on the grander scale, you guys have been watching me. You know that I've been talking about El Salvador and the IMF and ESG, and there is just a lot going on right now. There is a lot going on, right? And it's just something we have to pay attention to. You know, the elites, the wicked, the ones in control, the powers at B, they don't want to lose their power. They don't want to lose their power, right? So they are doing what they can to try to stop things. You know how I've been talking a lot about BlackRock, right? Just to show you guys, I think news.bitcoin caught up because they changed it. Well, that kind of ruined my thing here, because their headline story right here, they just actually removed it not too long ago. They had a piece about BlackRock buying up all the real estate, and that's something I mentioned before, right? How they want to keep control. They want to take this away from the people. It's kind of how I feel like with Bitcoin right now. Like all these big players, they don't want you to have your Bitcoin. They want to take it away from you, which is why they're causing all this FUD. Now, there is something that is very, very, very promising, something that I even missed. We, of course, know El Salvador is trying to do some bullish things right now, right? Buying Bitcoin, or I shouldn't say buying Bitcoin, but they're making Bitcoin legal tender. They're going to use volcanoes to mine Bitcoin, and there's no capital gains tax. But you know what? El Salvador isn't the only country that has embraced Bitcoin. Well, I take that back. They have embraced it as in legal tender. But I was looking at this just chart is buybitcoinworldwide.com. This kind of breaks it down. Before it was very archaic. They updated this. But I noticed they have this section called countries and governments. It turns out Bulgaria actually owns about $8 billion worth of Bitcoin. That's a staggering amount. Bulgaria and Ukraine also owns about $1.7 billion of Bitcoin. So you do have other countries that actually have bought Bitcoin, and these are the ones that are known. There are other countries that's probably holding a lot of Bitcoin that we don't know, right? So it's kind of fascinating that Bitcoin is way bigger than I think any of us realize. I mean, there's a lot of powers that be behind the scenes. You know, I explained how there's so many levels of tyranny, so many levels of control, and these guys just don't want to let go of control, all the way down from like the little banks to the bigger banks to the governments to countries and so forth, right? But you know what? Bitcoin is that one piece, that freedom piece that's trying to upset all this, right? But it's kind of mind-blowing that we're seeing a whole lot of countries, institutions, people, public trade companies, that's all diving in. Very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. All right, The one last thing I want to talk about is this. A lot of people have mentioned the G7, and I thought this was interesting. According to this article, the U.S. says G7 may reallocate $100 billion from IMF funds to COVID-ravaged nations. Interesting. This connection between the U.S. and IMF and this fund allocation, kind of interesting. You just have to, you realize if you connect the dots, everything is entwined. Everything is connected to each other, okay? And everything that's going on right now with El Salvador, the IMF having a problem with them, leading up to the G7, and all this just seems to all be connected one way or another. One way or another. You just really go down a rabbit hole if you're trying to, like, you know, kind of explain all this to someone. There's just so many pieces there. Rashid asked about, do you think G7 might pull crypto down? Well, see, that's the thing here. That's the thing. I don't know. Maybe like IMF doesn't like this, right? So they're go claim that maybe El Salvador is ruining their plans and they need this money back from the U.S. I don't know. I mean, who knows what Biden is going to say at a G7? Who knows what all these other countries will say, right? We just have to wait and see. We have to wait and see. Ido, thank you for that. Who's El Salvador? No, El Salvador. It's a country, man. It's a country. Keeps him insane through all this BS. Thanks for doing what you do. I appreciate that. All right, so that's pretty much what I want to say is that, you know what? I think this is causing, again, a self-fulfilling prophecy. A lot of other channels, a lot of other big, you know, TA guys, you know, they have all these things drawn out about a death cross coming and so forth, right? I actually looked at that. You know, I was just curious myself because people are like, yeah, big death cross was coming, right? And I believe it's on the weekly chart. But then, you know, you zoom in the weekly chart, you realize, well, you know what? The 200 is actually leveling out. There might not be that death chart on the death cross, on the weekly. So, you know, that caused a lot of fear. That may not happen, right? It just seems like right now, everyone is trying to find reasons to fear themselves out in the market. And this indicates that the big guys, the media-driven FUD, or the powers that be that are pulling all the strings, what they're doing is working. They're getting us all confused and questioning ourselves, and that's what we don't want. You know, if you know the what do you call it? They have this saying. I don't know how to say it, but you know, if we all fought ourselves out of the game, then they have won, right? So we don't want to do that. We don't want to find excuses why to sell. We need to find excuses to buy. We need to find reasons, hope, courage, and all these reasons to actually hold, right? So I feel like right now it's just like the opposite is happening. Worth it. Do I like Bibimbap? I think that's what you're saying. Yes, I actually do a lot. A few weeks ago, we talked about CargoX has grown 300 positions into the top 400 real case usage. You've said that. I still don't quite buy it. Top 400, grown 300 positions or 400 positions. Okay. Well, that's a good start at $66 million. But let's watch this go to 660 million first before we take it real serious. El Salvador, the Redeemer. Do you mind looking at BTC USD short and find where the squeeze happened? What are you talking about? This is what it is. What squeeze are you talking about? I don't know which squeeze you're talking about. Like the short squeeze, I said, could be coming, or it could be a long squeeze. But this is all measuring shorts right now. So this could be happening where there could be a massive movement downwards and then the short interest will decrease, or you could have a short squeeze and it also causes go down. But on the grand scheme of things, if you zoom out, you realize that this is not like all-time high. It's high, but we have seen periods in 2018, 2019, 2020 where the short interest was even higher. And keep in mind, this is only on one exchange. Although this exchange does have leverage, it's still one exchange. This is not shorts across all exchanges. So keep that in mind as well. Mike, I'm not going to answer that question. Thoughts on Kava and other DeFi 20% APY? Yeah, they offer a lot of APY. But, I'm still a little wary about projects that can offer such high APY. Right? I know they have a system that can work it out, but, I haven't thought it all through, and I still think it's a little bit risky. I bought recently, can't afford to back out. Mustang Amazon for strength to hodl. So far, so good. What I do is concentrate on fundamentals, right? And there's just a lot that is in place, that's coming. And you know what? We just have to weather the storm. Weather the storm. We have seen many periods of downs. We have seen many periods where we go down and just kind of hover and hover and hover and hover, right? And you know what? That's just how things are. Sometimes things hover. Sometimes they do go down. But many times they also come up. I think it was just quickly forgetting how fast things have moved up, how much that the market has gained. People always focus on the negativity. Like, oh, look at, we're down from our high, but no one ever looks at how much we're up from our lows, right? But you know what? This is natural. This is natural. You zoom out and then you go back and look at the previous time frames for Bitcoin, and you'll see there's many, many, many periods where there's a lot of drops. And I'm not talking about crypto winter. Just go back in 2017, look at these drops and look at these movements. It took months and months to break out and continue higher. And most of the gains came at the tail end right here. And we're talking about September, October, November, December, right? So the worst case, we're in June already, right? Maybe we do go sideways for a little bit. But then, you know what? Get ready for the last leg up. See? I think you just have to expand your time frame sometimes, right? Like this morning, someone asked me, oh, George, there's no institutional interest anymore. It seems like we're never going to go up. No, let's go come back. Yusuf, I am going to be doing something big with VMworld in the future, so stay tuned for that. A big NFT play on VeChain. Bro, when do you think we see 100K BTC? I think the end of this year. I think Bitcoin is still on track. I think it's going to break through six figures, and who knows where it's going to end up. I do think that it is still on track. I don't think any of the fundamentals have changed. Everything I've been saying is still in place. You still have companies and now countries and institutions still getting in, mostly because of fears of inflation. And, the fact that the dollar is inflating and devaluing, that's real. That's why all the super rich, they're spending their money as quick as they can to buy real assets, because the assets are the ones that are not going to depreciate like cash. So that is still in place. I sold my girlfriend to buy into BTC. Now I'm single and broke. Thanks, Elon. Zaya says BTC is fighting the 20-day moving average, which is around 36,000. If it breaks, it will test 30K again. I hope not. Tired of it. I mean, people have been saying we're going to test 30K for a long time. Keep saying we're going to test it. Well, this recent drop, we didn't test it. I mean, we dropped down to about 31,000, right? Not to say that we can't test it, but there's just too many predictions, too many charts or direction or patterns. They'll say, oh, this must happen. And then you know what happens? It doesn't happen. Or it does happen because it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because everyone thinks it's going to happen and start panic selling and not buying, then it happens. This is one of the things that I hate. There's too many people in the space that's trying to predict what's happening. And then they cause some kind of commotion, and everyone's looking at it, everyone's talking about it, and it end up either coming true because it becomes self-fulfilling, or it doesn't and just causes people to lose money anyways. So you know what? I like to focus on the long game. Buy when things are cheap and hold until they're not cheap anymore. XRP looking to upgrade to support DeFi and smart contracts. I think that's more of with the Flare network. I don't think XRP is really concentrating on that. The Flare network is doing those things, and it's based on the XRP ledger. So, what do you think about Michael Arrington's firm and his 100 million fund with Algorand? I think it's okay. There's a lot of firms out there that have raised a whole bunch of money and is investing a whole bunch of money in projects, right? So there was something I just want to quickly mention. Prepare yourself to feel okay. There's no need for that. What are your predictions and what will happen at G7? I don't know. They're probably going to talk about like this: COVID relief and inflation. And they're probably going to talk about how to protect themselves from inflation after printing so much money, right? I don't know if that's going to be good or bad for crypto. It's anyone's guess right now. What do you think about Craig Wright's claim that Satoshi? Of course it's not right. He can't prove it. He can't prove it any way. He's been sued in court, and he can't prove it. He says he was, but he can't. So it's just BS. BS. Camille says BTC is 10x from March price low. Even new institutions planning to buy BTC now, they might consider buying at a lower price. Sure, everyone would consider buying at a lower price. But the thing is, what if lower price doesn't come? Right? You can only drive FUD so much until people just stop selling and there's no more sellers. And that could be at the 30K mark that we're saying, which is why things have not gone down even lower, despite the fact that there's a lot of fear and everyone is looking for the next drop, you know? So yeah, of course, theoretically, everyone wants to buy lower, but it doesn't mean it's going to come. John David, I mean, I suggested that. You know, we know Michael Saylor just got $500 million of cash. I suggested on Twitter to him, like, hey, let's do a Bitcoin day where he's buying on the spot exchanges or just one spot exchange on Coinbase, and then everyone else joins in, and we will just literally wreck every single bear and every single short position and cause the biggest short squeeze we have seen, right? But he has not answered. I'm not sure if he's going to do that or not. Probably not. But that would be fantastic to think about. You know, if we could actually do that, that would be terrific. Your daily blockchain, I would never do that because I always stress if you go buy, spread it out. Buy in increments. If you go forward to buy one whole Bitcoin right now, spread out 4 or 5 ways. So put a fourth or a fifth in. If it goes lower, let's say it goes $30, you put another fourth or fifth in, right? And then do it that way. If it doesn't go down anymore, well, okay. Then at least you got in like halfway or a third in, right? See, the problem is I think most people, when they get into space, they do dollar cost averaging. They do too greedy or too aggressive. Not greedy, too aggressive. If it goes down 10 or 15%, they put all their money in. And then if it goes down more, they can't. Well, the point of dollar cost averaging is to dollar cost average over a long period of time. So you can either do that by setting a schedule to buy at a certain time every week, every month, something like that. Or you sprout your buys and buy the dips, right? So that's what I would do. Why doesn't Matic move much? They have moved quite a bit, yeah. In fact, if you look at the last year or 6 months, their movement is probably the third highest of all the crypto out there, like 16 or 17,000%. So They have. Again, you probably just got in recently, so you think they're not moving, but they have been one of the best and biggest movers of the space for quite some time. Lately, there's been nothing but new junk coins. You know, I've noticed that too because I get pitched a lot. I get pitched a lot with these new projects, and all the ones recently are garbage. Like, they're all some meme coin, some new kind of, deflationary meme coin that is donating to charity. I mean, literally every single one that get pitches is doing that because they want to make a quick buck. Like recently, it's really been hard to find new solid projects. So I kind of agree with you there. Where are we eating? Well, that's up to you in Vegas. that's up to you. Millionaire Moon. Appreciate that. What do you think about Chili's launching UFC token? It was pumping yesterday. Yeah, they announced that. I mean, the official announcement came out, I believe, recently, but they had that in store for a long time. One of the reasons why I love Chili's. Not only do they have football clubs, but also UFC, and they're going to expand to US sports too. So, out of all the NFT plays, they're definitely one of the ones that I like and support. What do you think about gatekeeping projects? What do you mean? I don't get what that means, Mike. Solana is a good price here. I bought 6,000. The channel should too. All right. Well, good for you. Good for you. Why do you think there's less good projects? Can you connect the dots? Probably because there's out of ideas. Because, literally, anything you could think of, there's already a crypto project. So, people don't want to reinvent the wheel. They want to just come up with something that's a different variant of something else that's already popular. And they want to ride the coattails. That's really the reason. It's like, hey, if, I don't know, Feg or Feed or whatever is doing good, let's make a copy of it and let's ride the coattails. Just like when Dogecoin is doing good, hey, let's create, Shiba and Akita and all these other ones that are similar, right? The problem is people jump from them one after another. There's no loyalty. So when the pump is over, they dump really hard, and because they never had a purpose to begin with, right? So I think that's the reason why. The article means to say the U.S. is giving $100 billion to El Salvador to keep them from adopting VC. I have a feeling the IMF is going to try really hard to get them to come off, but I think it's a little bit too late. What do you think about claims that Bitcoin's white paper have been invalidated? I don't even know what that means. Why would it be invalidated? And Bitcoin's white paper really means nothing. People that still stick with it and say, oh, the white paper says this and this. Keep in mind, Bitcoin is also technology. There's no technology that doesn't evolve and change over time. So what may have been true with the white paper 12 years ago may not be true today. There's been upgrades to the Bitcoin network. There's a lot of talk about Taproot that is going to add in more privacy features to Bitcoin. So there's a lot of things that comes to a technology, right? So this argument, because Craig Wright used to say that all the time, and Roger Ver used to say that until he lost that argument. Roger Ver used to say, oh, Bitcoin Cash follows the white paper better, until Bitcoin SV came out and said they follow it better. And now Roger Ver doesn't talk about that at all because he realized that was a stupid argument to begin with. Nick says, I have a theory. Elon New Powers at B were moving BTC, and he's doing this deliberately to disrupt their plans and conditioning people. No, that's not. No. It's more like he was in it. He was forced to do it. This BlackRock connection is deep. It runs deep. BlackRock they didn't become the largest asset manager in the world by being lucky. They've been pulling the strings on a lot of things. And I don't think it's a coincidence that them being the third largest shareholder in Tesla is a coincidence. I think this all relates. Zaya says, my average on Matic is 159, holding till 5. Please have VIP tickets to your Vegas spread. Okay. Well, I maybe. I'll think about it. Cardano and KuCoin. I'm buying most to hold long term. What's your opinion? I like both. I got in Cardano late, right? Here's the funny thing. Someone's saying like, George, you said you didn't buy Cardano before, and then now you bought it. Why do you FOMO in? You know, it's like you say something and then somehow you can't ever change your mind, or at least what ignorant people like to claim, right? Of course, I've always said I like Cardano. I just thought I missed the boat. But then recently, I've noticed that there's a lot of developments. It's coming to conclusion, so I want to buy in, right? Even though I bought in like 160-ish, so I am down from that buy. But still, I think to go continue higher and go much higher. But then there's like always people that want to like call everyone else out because deep down, they're actually feeling really sad. And they're a sad person, so they have to like try to bring others down to their level. Oh, it's irritating dealing with people like that. But anyways, I got sidetracked. Cardano, KuCoin, I like both. And KuCoin is a really good exchange. Really good exchange. What do you think about Lossless? They advertise themselves. They have a first fraud detection token. Could be interesting. It's true. No, that's BS. They are not the first. There's a lot of happies in that space. There's another one that's in that space. But they can't be 100%. They can't be 100%. They're just trying to track it with notifications. Doesn't mean that it's going to be 100%. It doesn't mean that at all. Have you checked NIF? May have mooned already, but keeps pumping out features. Nope. No, I have not. Unify. Well, they haven't really pumped that much, but they have been making good gains, I guess. Decentralized freedom. We're a multi-chain infrastructure platform focusing on creator economy. Our main target is developing an enabled no-code solution for creators. So all things around NFT space. Mint, buy, sell, swap, create NFTs. NFT farms are just a few clicks. Simple enough. Sounds pretty good. And then they have a market builder, a farm builder, so you can build your own marketplace. You could build your own farm. Your wallet connection. Actually, it sounds pretty good. It's easy. See, I love projects where you could read like the first paragraph and know exactly what they're about, and the page is clean. This is part of marketing. There's so many out there. You look at a page and you have no idea what the hell they're doing, right? But this is nice and clean, and I know what they're doing, and I like the idea. The only problem is there's a lot of NFT marketplaces, but there are not a lot of NFT farm builders. So, okay, could be good. Oh, and they're on KuCoin too, which is really good too. Nice. This could be a good one. Put that on a maybe. I haven't said I'm putting something on a maybe for a long time, because they're all like pretty crappy recently. Isaiah, yeah, I can't tell you that. You have to decide for yourself. Gary, yes, thank you. Harmony One, I know Harmony. I've been supporting them for quite some time. They are going to be participating in a small way at my GeorgeCon later this year too. So, but I do like Harmony quite a bit. Binance and Bitfinex inflow, Quant Peak, I donate, no C, look for yourself. All right, calm down, chef. I have to log in. Sign up. Hold on. All right, let's bring this back. Bitfinex inflow. Let's check out ETH first. There was a big one right here before. Let's do hourly. A few days ago, seems like. Yeah, that was a few days ago. Nothing with ETH. Let's check BTC. Hourly. No, there's nothing. Chef, what are you talking about? There's nothing inflowed into Bitfinex. I feel like you were just causing FUD. I know you weren't trying to, but it sounds like you caused a lot of FUD right there. Gino, thank you for that. What do you know about Axion? I don't know much about Axion. Why is ETH so weak? Well, it's not. The entire like altcoin market is weak right now because I feel like there's just too many people that's anticipating there's going to be a dump, right? So again, it's becoming like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Right now, what's important is we know that there is a lot of media-driven FUD or FUD in general, right? About environmental concerns with Bitcoin. And because of it, the market is now stagnant. There's a lot of doubt, a lot of fear, a lot of FUD, right? But I've been trying to prove to you guys, connecting the dots, this whole connection of powers that be, the elites, the wicked, the unholy, they're all driving things right now, right? They don't want you to attain life-changing wealth. They don't want you to break free from their tyranny, their control over you with lending and banking and money and all this stuff, right? They don't want you to do that. But what's important is, you know what? If you can ignore all of that and you can continue to have the obedience, the conviction, the faith to continue on this path, right? This path to life-changing wealth and to break yourself from this. That's all that really matters. And Bitcoin provides that. And I do believe, besides Bitcoin, crypto also provides that. You know why? Because altcoins for general purposes right now, especially a lot of these chains, they're concentrating on DeFi. And DeFi also helps break from that. Not only Bitcoin, but DeFi does. DeFi allows you to get away from banks. You don't need to utilize banks anymore. You don't need to use a bank to borrow money. You could do so with DeFi projects, right? You could also stake or deposit and make interest. You don't need a savings account anymore, right? So, I mean, DeFi and Bitcoin, they help you break through that. And if you can see that and you can hold strong and you can ignore all this FUD that's going on, well, then you're setting yourself up for success. So that's what we really need to concentrate on. When is the next wave, NFT wave? Probably when the market starts rallying again. That's when the next wave will come off. Tezos. I don't know. Honestly, I just don't know too much about Tezos and their recent developments, but promising chain, also into DeFi, NFTs, right? TrueBit. Yeah, I did look at that before. Again, a little early. It looks like a promising fast chain, like a layer 2 for like DeFi. Like that's what it looked like, but it still seemed like a little early. All right, well, it looks like Bitcoin's coming down a little bit, 35.7, right? But we'll see. I mean, I think people are still very concerned about this right here, right? And again, people are sitting on the sidelines. Everyone's waiting. Everyone's trying to outsmart the market, right? And we'll have to see. One of three things is going to happen. Either we're going to have a short squeeze, which could happen this weekend. We have nothing. We just go sideways. Or we do have that dump that people are anticipating, right? But regardless, the strategy is the same. All right, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. Sam says, I feel like crypto's dying off like 2018. We have to wait for our exit. Okay, if you feel that way, then maybe this is not for you. Maybe you need to sell off. Long-time listener, first-time speaker, thank you. Do you think if heavy inflation hits altcoins altcoins will survive? Yes. If Bitcoin holds strong and continues upwards, altcoins will too. It will. So I honestly believe that. Not all of them, but the ones that have a lot of traction, have a lot of DeFi projects, I think they will hold. What's the deal with ICP? I've always said I didn't really like ICP. It was just too overhyped. Too overhyped. It jumped to the top 10 way too quick. And there are some concerns about it. I mean, I don't really fully endorse it. There just seems to be a lot of things. There's like an ID thing that you have to worry about, which a lot of people do not like. A lot of their nodes is run in like data centers. Their staking mechanism is questionable because it's based on time, which gives them a lot of control. There's a lot of stuff with ICP, and it's very, very encompassing. And now people are saying they're running ads or something. I don't know. It just seems like that shouldn't be something they're doing, but who knows? Who knows? All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. We'll see what happens. Today's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Are we going to see some volatility? Maybe. But the important thing is, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Stay strong and take advantage if you can. All right? Take care, guys. Have a